Hello YouTube, Guy's Lost Chapter is coming up soon, and the brain dead member of Class 0, who has one of the most cursed voice lines in the game, is getting an LD, and Guy is getting absolutely nothing. This is my poll plan series where I break information down quickly and go over my thoughts and plans on upcoming characters and events. I play both JP and Global consistently and use my knowledge, research, and experience to help others. My goal with this series is to help everyone make informed decisions on their own and not give answers. There's too many variables in this game, and I believe the best help you can give someone is showing them how to help themselves. For that reason, I go over my poll plan to do not approach it as a should you poll, invest, spend, etc., as I believe the latter is not a healthy way to approach the game. Only you can answer that for yourself ultimately. By the end of the video, ideally, all my viewers will be able to reach their own conclusions. I cannot give you answers, just a perspective. So in that same vein of idea sharing and thinking, be sure to leave a comment with your plans for the event, teams, and polls. I do read all the comments, so don't hesitate to hit me up with questions. While you're here, do me a favor, drop a like on the video, subscribe, it helps my channel tons. You can become a channel member for emotes, and make sure I always reply to your comments. Lastly, be sure to check out the Ranting Hour, my weekly stream, where I get angry about stuff and talk about more refined topics that I don't usually make an edited video for, but it's usually good stuff. Come through for the live stream. This is the first Lufenia Plus Lost Chapter. We're not going to have the synergy stats from Divine Panda, so be aware of that. The banner is Cinque LD with Zidane BT on it, and Guy's LD is on it as well. Guy is getting high armor. Cinque is getting a rework in high armor and level 80. And this is one of the trickier Lufenia Plus, known for its high brave damage and brave game reductions getting to 90% on each, and it also has high defense as well. But let's get into it. Guy is getting high armor plus here, and that's it. If nothing changes from JP, which I don't expect it to, don't worry. He'll get a buff at C90 guaranteed down the road. So if you get him on this banner, there's a future at least, but sorry. This was a sad trend of characters in the Lufenia Plus era on their Lost Chapters not getting anything. Deal with it. The headliner, however, is Cinque, who is getting a rework, LD, and high armor. Her rework gave her skills multiple HP attacks. Now the plus versions of her skills delay targets by 1 turn. She also now hits weakness damage on debuff targets. Her LD is a multiple AoE HP attack. It delays everyone by 2 turns assuming they have the stun debuff up, and it gives Cinque a new buff as well as dropping a new debuff on the enemies. Lastly, it puts 5 stacks of her stun debuff on all of the enemies. First off, the buff gives her stat ups, and most importantly, gives her HP damage up when attacking a target with her stun debuff based on the number of stacks. So it's 10% at 1 and 30% at 5. Additionally, when a target has stun and Cinque has the buff up, she will do a new follow-up. This is the double HP attack that drops Cinque's new debuff, which we'll talk about in a second, and 3 stacks of her stun debuff. So she has pretty much infinite uptime, better maintenance, I should say, of her stun debuff. The new debuff, however, that she drops on her follow-up is pretty stacked. It is defense down 100%, HP damage up 30%. However, it goes down when the enemy is attacked, similar to Edward's sleep. When you're in a BT phase, it doesn't decrease mid-BT phase, it only goes down at the end. Same applies to summon phase. She has attacker high armor, and her calls are notable for having pocket delays, but be aware that you will not get the broken debuff on her LD calls because she doesn't have buff start. If you're looking for reruns down the line, she does rerun with her LD alongside Ursula. So now for my analysis on Cinque. Strengths wise, she is now the best offensive delayer in the game. Garland does get his rework and BT plus next month, but if you aren't greening Garland, I think I'd rather run Cinque in the party. Debuff stack management on Cinque is way more consistent now that she reapplies the debuff with her follow-up, way easier to get the plus versions of her skills off all the time, and this means more delays. And while she does still delay herself, now she brings the enemies back with her. With stun, her new debuff, and her generic defense down up, that is 150% defense down on the enemies, which is insane. Debuffing defense is insane in Lufenia Plus, and ignored defense is really good as a result as well. While this debuff won't be in play all the time because of the nature how it goes down when the enemies get hit, if you're running Cinque, especially with these are the teams she likes, delayer teams or turn swap teams where she can come back. That's why Afmao is popular with her. Her modifiers via her buffs and debuffs also mean she's pumping out respectable damage as well. Again, defense down and defense ignore are both very, very good in Lufenia Plus. However, downsides to Cinque are that she still has the awkwardness of delaying herself, and the debuff management might be a little annoying, but it can be viable if you learn how to do it properly. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, plus everyone doesn't like delayers and stuff like that. Plus her voice line, I'm gonna do this for 40. I said I was gonna stop doing it, but I know he already made that video of me, but John Skiki! If you don't want to hear that over, I mean, we could just turn the game down. So that's not a real point, but you know what I mean. While they did fix her issues with her LD and rework, she's still kind of awkward to play. Just build around her weaknesses. I mean, she's synergy with a turn deleter and a turn manipulator, so they're kind of telling you how to build around those weaknesses. If you don't feel like dealing with the mechanics or the boss doesn't lend itself to that kind of playstyle, then I mean, Cinque is kind of yikes. Cinque will be useful in any fight where the boss does not need to get turns. You just double down on the delay and you can send bosses away and debuff them with that 150% defense down. She'll especially shine in fights with high defense. Things to come to mind are Transcendence 5 Reckoning, Kate Sith Mission Dungeon, fights that need you to have debuff stacks up, which would be Jegrin and Fran's LD release, Lufenius. Nothing else comes to mind, but we all love our defense down calls, Jack and Ferris, so it'd follow that defense down should be valued on Cinque as well. Got a bit more baggage and clunk attached to that, unfortunately, but it can be valuable in the right circumstances, which pretty much applies to anything, so I think she's an alright character. The event, Guy's Lost Chapter, the Lufenia Plus, is notorious for having 90-90 reductions. I think I mentioned that earlier. And the orb is to deal damage while an HP damage debuff is up. They are immune to Element and Peril, and I'm expecting Facebook and Reddit posts on why isn't my Kurasame debuff working or stuff like that, so just be aware. That means no Ignis 2, but Aerith in party, Agrius in party, Gabronth in party, although he's better off as a call. And you want to, the ideal path of least resistance is delete them away with Zidane and just deal damage to them while they have an HP damage debuff up. So if you delete them with Zidane and stun them with Agrius's debuff counts as HP damage up, so that could count. These guys are HP attack and delay heavy if they get turned, so watch out for that. And again, the reductions, both 90% to battery and brave reduction, feel like garbage. It's also +1 on Earth. So if you bring Guy or Gao and do some other shenanigans, it's possible to do that without having the HP damage debuff up, but you should be running an HP damage debuff up if you can. This fight is really when people started to scratch their heads about Lufenia Plus. Porum, Agrius, Y'shtola, BT effect, and Setzer having the rainbow damage were really appreciated here for just overcoming the reductions. And then it's a matter of just beating the boss up before it kills you or before the turns are missed. My plans, and I'm gonna be real with y'all, slightly convinced myself making this video to maybe throw some tickets at Cinque. I don't know. I don't think she's anything spectacular, perhaps. I think that defense down in a vacuum sounds really good, but in practice, I don't know if I can put up with her. Just the Totsukeki, I don't know if I meme myself into wanting to do that during runs. And plus, she'd pair well with Barret because she's all melee. So I'm conflicted. I don't. If you see, the smart thing to do here when you're on the fence is to do the event without pulling and then see if you really want the character. That's what I'm gonna do. We'll see if I can maintain it. Yeah, we'll see about that. But for the average player, Cinque probably isn't the best fit because she's just awkward, and Sid Reigns is around the corner and he's super busted, so you're probably better off overall with him in your party. But for the hipsters and the people who have the resources, I could see Cinque being valuable and showing. If you're looking for examples of her being, because she has plenty of viability, the Fick Tanaji on YouTube, he did a lot of Cinque runs, very like Cinque and COD, where his like people, they just sent people to the Shadow Realm, which is really cool stuff. And I was always doing like research and stuff. I was rewatching a bunch of his videos and I was like, oh man, this does sound kind of good. So I'm not perfect and I can't commit to things either. As for the fight in JP, I ran Zidane, Agrius, and Yuna again, and I deleted them with Zidane, and it turned into a punching bag basically. And this time around in global, I'm thinking of running Y'shtola, Porum, and a third to battery through the reductions and hopefully kill it before it kills me. My Copium team says Barret, but that probably, Y'shtola, Porum, Barret, but that probably won't work, and I probably need a dedicated damage dealer. So I might bust out Tifa then or something, but you'll see the video when it comes out. Anywho, that's all I had to say. Hopefully you all found this helpful and are using it to form your own opinions and come to your own conclusions. Let me know said conclusions in the comments if you're polling, what you're interested in, and what you'll be doing for the event. Again, do me a favor and like the video, subscribe to my channel as well, become a member if you want to help support me that way. I'll catch you guys later. Good luck on the event. Peace.